Can you believe what's going on in the world right now? I mean, what's up? Israel trading fire with Iran like it's a freaking video game. Trump is calling for unconditional surrender. Diddy might go down on federal racketeering charges. And I mean, in the middle of all of this, people are still a little bit more worried about what Taylor Swift wore to dinner. That is the world we're living in, and that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is even when you try, you put an effort to follow the news, you're still not getting the truth. You're getting all the headlines crafted very carefully, spun and spoon fed to make you think what they want you to think. And that's why we do this. This is the Friday edition of Headline Lies. We do Headline Lies every Monday and Friday, where I rip off the mask of the media and show you what's really going on underneath all that spin. I mean, if you don't know the truth, you are just another pawn in someone else's story, and we don't need that. Welcome to True Crime and the Court of Public Opinion. I am Alexis Knight. Let's get into it. And we're going to start with the doozy right here. I mean, there were so many, but let's start with this. The headline that read, Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender. Wow. I mean, this thing was published, picked up by Barron's, Reuters, echoed across media outlets with zero nuance. Okay? The Trump warhead that wasn't. That's what this is. Trump demands Iran's unconditional surrender. This sounds like a war cry or a madman with nukes. Sounds like Donald Trump just skipped diplomacy and went straight to, let's bomb the desert, guys. Except, listen, I'm tired of these political games. Remember, we don't take sides here. I have to tell you, that is not what happened. Let's rewind. If you want the truth, this is what it is, whether you like it or not. Trump, speaking during a high-profile rally this week, brought up Iran, right? And not because of new intelligence, not because of new provocation, but because of the media narrative around Biden's recent deal with Iran. Trump used the phrase unconditional surrender, right? Rhetorically, it was part of a call out saying that the United States should project strength and not negotiate with terrorists. This is not a new idea. The United States does not want to negotiate with terrorists. I don't know why that seems like a great new idea these days. It's not something that we do. But then here comes the trick, right? Most outlets clipped that quote. They stripped out all the context and they ran it as a standalone line. Like, Trump wants Iran's unconditional surrender. And of course, everyone panicked. You know, the narrative, Trump's a wild card. What's happening now? Should we freak out? And people just decide, yes, they should. They shouldn't figure it out, look it up, and learn more about it. They just decide to freak out. That's the go-to now. In full context, Trump was criticizing the $6 billion asset unfreezing deal brokered by the Biden administration. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But Trump was essentially saying, hey, they're laughing at us. I mean, we gave them billions. They should be surrendering to us without conditions. And listen, if you don't understand all of this, I'm going to get into this stuff even more deeply in another episode about this whole mess. But here we're dealing with the headlines and the lies. Trump did not issue a policy statement. This was not a Pentagon leak. It was performative, dramatic, and inflammatory, yes, but not a declaration of war. And the difference matters. Let's be blunt. I mean, Trump sells, right? And fear sells. We see that out there every single day. And if you combine the two, well, you have Trump, nukes, and Iran, you've got clickbait cocaine, okay? But here's the lie behind the headline. This all makes it sound like Trump is about to launch a military campaign, that he's calling for blood, and that he's dragging us back into war. But Trump, like Biden, I mean, they all know the cost of war with Iran. No president since 1979 has really wanted a real war with Tehran. It's not about moral high ground. It's about oil, geography, and political risk. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Trump wants to look tough. Sure. Of course he does. He also wants to hammer Biden on looking weak. And of course on that too. These are political games. But while the media wants you to imagine, mushroom clouds and draft notices, the truth is way more calculated. And you need to know. He did not say we were going to war. He did not present a plan. He did not even call for sanctions. He used a dramatic phrase to highlight what he sees as appeasement. And I mean, did he go over the top? Of course he did. Is he rallying voters with it? Absolutely. That's what politicians do. They all want to get you on their side. That's nothing new. All right? We could slam them all for that. Is it a literal war policy? No. I mean, this headline wasn't just a lie. It was a setup. A setup to paint our president as reckless and dangerous, which is never good no matter who the president is. Also, I have to mention this, I never mentioned that the president before this, and that would be Biden, handed Iran access to billions. And I'm going to get into that also. Okay, a few headlines from now, we have to touch on that. This is political framing at its worst. I mean, when both sides are manipulating the truth, the headlines absolutely become weapons, and we need to be wise to that. So here's the rule. I mean, if the headline makes your jaw drop, ask yourself what got cut from the quote. All right, and here we go again. More fun with Iran. Here's the headline. Iran threatens all-out war if U.S. intervenes. Okay, New York Post, Yahoo, regional war blogs. Okay, happening this week. Here's the scream headline that you've seen, all right? I just gave it to you. Causing panic, causing outrage. I mean, just like that, the media pushed all of us to the edge of our seats. I mean, Iran threatens all-out war if the U.S. gets involved after we just saw that Trump is demanding. I mean, this gets people crazy, right? And what did I just say? If it makes you crazy, you might want to stop for a second. I mean, Twitter exploded on this. Reddit ran with World War III memes. Great. And boomers everywhere dug up their old draft cards. I mean, it was nuts out there in an instant. Except this isn't new. This isn't even news. This is Iran's go-to script, okay? What do I tell you? The playbook? I mean, they have files ready to go. They've worked us so many times over and over again, and we just never notice. They have recycled this every time they want to remind the world that they're still in the game. Iran didn't announce a war. They responded to a leak that the United States was considering support for Israeli air campaigns inside Iranian territory, specifically targeting nuclear infrastructure. And now you should have heard about that by now. Sorry, guys. But this is going on, and so Iran does what it always does. They rattle the saber, issue a vague statement, but very dramatic, that says any American intervention will be met with full military response across all fronts. I mean, that is pretty clear. That's it. But headlines turned it into, hey, Iran declares all-out war. Okay? That's false. There is a difference. Of course they're talking to each other, to the world. They're threatening each other. They're taking their stance. I mean, this is what happens. There's no formal threat, no troop movement, no mobilization when this is going on. It was all a bluff. And they've done this dozens of times. So I'm letting you know, not that this isn't a serious issue, but we have to watch for these things. Okay? Let's go back a little bit. In 2023, Iran said it would flatten Tel Aviv if Israel struck Syria. Everyone panicked then. In 22, they warned of regional fire if the U.S. expanded drone operations. In 2019, after the assassination, they vowed to wipe out U.S. forces. How's that going? And all the way back in 2006, they said they would burn the Strait of Hormuz if they were provoked. None of those things happened. Okay, that isn't even the point. They're not really going to do those things. But they're sure causing a stir, and they know it works, and boy, it does. These statements are not meant to start wars. They're meant to buy time, get some chaos, get everyone talking, which gives us more headlines and more time to buy, more money to be made off of these ridiculous headlines, get some leverage, maybe posture for internal power. I mean, they're just a tactic. Okay, what are the stakes behind all these screams, though? I mean, Iran's leadership does not want an all-out war. They don't want it. They wouldn't prefer that. Their economy's barely functioning. Their people are extremely angry. They do have people over there, if you never thought of that before. They're under crushing sanctions that are deserved. And they've had internal revolts over major issues like food and gas. So why would they do these threats? Why put these out there? Well, it forces diplomatic hesitation, doesn't it? It instantly does that. It's a reminder that if you push too hard, we'll blow the whole thing up. Basically, geopolitical hostage taking. But the media loves this stuff, okay? And we need to get wise to that. This headline is a copy-paste goldmine, all right? Seriously, it creates instant panic. And better yet, you don't even need new footage. Just roll, some B-roll of missiles, flags, burning oil fields, and boom. Panic drives clicks. Clicks drive profit. There's so much content out there, guys. People don't even need to work for this. But they're buying cars, Miami high-rise apartments, penthouses, all because of us clicking and panicking. Here is the lie. Iran did not declare anything. They didn't even escalate militarily. They didn't. They responded to rumors with a generic chest-beating soundbite playbook. And I mean, if you're out there believing that's news, I guess you've never met an attention-hungry regime that's on life support, because that's what we are looking at. The more important story this week is Iran's internal gas shortage, their banking crisis, their major struggle to control anti-regime protests that are spreading again in their rural cities. Again, there are real people living there. And they're not putting any of this in your headlines because that's just not going to cause you to flip all your beliefs and go nuts. So instead, they scare you, because scared people, they don't ask questions. They just freak out. Click, click, click. I mean, fear is the oldest tool in media. It is the oldest tool in everything. Look what's going on in the Diddy trial. Fear. I mean, come on. The next time you hear all-out war, I would like you to check the calendar. If it is not backed by troop movements you can find, satellite proof, or new alliances, you're probably just watching a rerun of the same old scare play, and I'm not kidding. The media sells it like it's breaking news, but it's just Iran doing what it always does, talking loud while holding a crumbling hand. We need to get wiser. And I mean, let's keep going on this. There's just so much. This headline broke fast and very hard. Israel bombs Iranian state TV headquarters. No questions, no context, just a big boom, a dramatic label, and implied outrage. Free speech under attack, civilians in danger, press targeted. But let's pause, because this was not an attack on press freedom. It was an attack on military-grade communications, on a facility wrapped in the costume of a TV studio. And yes, again, it makes a big difference. According to Israeli sources, and later confirmed through satellite footage, the strike took out a section of IRIB, Iran's national broadcaster. But here is the twist. This was not some civilian newsroom covering cooking shows and weather forecasts. It was part of a classified broadcast complex tied to military coordination signals, propaganda amplification, and potential long-range drone communications. In short, it was a military communications node, dressed up as state television. I mean, come on, guys. Let's break down what the media wants you to believe. Simple. Israel bombed journalists. But what they don't explain is that IRIB is not independent press. It is not. It is state-owned, directly controlled by the Supreme Leader's office. It regularly broadcasts regime propaganda. It broadcasts threats to other nations and censored narratives to the Iranian public. So how do you think of this now? It also conveniently ignored, this headline, ignored, why Israel sent warnings ahead of time. Why ignore this? Standard IDF protocol includes pre-strike evacuation alerts unless the target is considered an immediate threat. There is zero confirmed reporting of any press deaths. Warfare isn't clean. This is dangerous territory. No, bombing anything labeled media isn't a small move. But modern warfare doesn't involve symmetrical armies in open fields. If you're using your national broadcaster to send coded signals to proxy militias, or obscure drone launch instructions, or run disinformation during wartime, then you're certainly not running CNN. You're running PSYOPs in a suit and a tie. And why does any of this matter? It matters because public opinion is fragile. Show the public a headline about a TV station getting bombed, and of course they picture journalists buried under rubble. They're not going to picture military officers monitoring satellite feeds in a disguised war room. And the media knows all about that. They choose to phrase things the way they do, special for you. Words like TV headquarters, civilian infrastructure, or censorship attack. All of these create emotional responses, and none of them require any truth at all. And by the way, this tactic is not unique to Iran, okay? Russia's done it. Ukraine's done it. Hell, even the US and NATO use communication hubs that are embedded inside buildings marked as civilian. That's the tactic. Maybe it doesn't make it right, but it means this is not a one-sided atrocity. This is modern war, and disguise is everything. This headline is dangerous because it implies innocence where there may be none. It pulls emotional strings and primes us for outrage without giving the facts. This wasn't about journalism. This was about power and propaganda and perception. And if you still think it's just a TV building, just ask yourself, why would Israel waste a missile on a weather channel? We have to start using our common sense here. Now, let's get into the topic I discussed earlier. And I said I would talk about it later. Again, we're dealing with Iran. But when Biden handed over that $6 billion for the prisoner swap, okay, let's run this. This headline, it's out there. It just won't go away. It says Biden gave Iran $6 billion. That's pretty blunt. But if you want the viral version, it says Joe Biden paid terrorists $6 billion for hostages. This thing, it's been recycled again recently as the United States ramps up all this Middle Eastern stuff, right? You'll see it, social media, talk radio, every conservative influencer's favorite meme reel, it's going to have this in there. But here is the thing. It's the perfect headline to manipulate people. Technically, it feels true, doesn't it? But actually, it's an optical illusion. Let's dismantle it. What really happened? Back in 23, the United States and Iran reached a deal to release 5 imprisoned Americans. And now in return, the United States allowed $6 billion in Iran oil revenue that had been frozen in South Korean banks. Did you know all about this? I'm sure the news talked all about it in your area. This was all to be transferred to a Qatari account. The money was not U.S. taxpayer dollars. Let's get that out there. It was not a payout, and not handed over directly to Iran's government either. This actually was Iran's own money, restricted under sanctions. It could only be used for humanitarian purchases, things like food and medicine, and it was to be monitored by Qatar's central bank and U.S. oversight. No cash on the tarmac, okay? No secret transfer, no bags of money and guns like in movies. So why is it that people think this is a payoff? It's a great one to talk about. Why even you probably think this is a payoff? Okay, because that's exactly how the headline was crafted to sound and to get you to believe. You picture Biden writing a check to the Ayatollah. You imagine terrorists getting richer while Americans look weak. I mean, it hits every single emotional trigger. The fear of terrorism, rage over weakness, distrust in another president, confusion over foreign money. It's a lot. And we deal with these things swirling over our heads all the time. And the media knows it, and they use it. Let's remember, okay? What's the thing we want to remember from headline lies? Headlines don't have to be true. They just have to stick. You know, in the old days when the little kid would stand on the corner and say, breaking news, or whatever he'd say, read all about it, because there was something to say, he'd stand there and shake the newspaper, read all about it. And people would. Something interesting to see. Let me buy your newspaper and learn all about it. They're still playing that same game. The headline's the guy on the street. And we're running over there and taking the bait. But nothing in that paper's true. That's the problem. But all it has to do is stick. And that's working just great. This isn't the first time this happened. Remember Obama's $1.7 billion ransom to Iran? That was actually a legal settlement over a 1970s arm deal. But they didn't give you that information. It got spun into cash for hostages. And what do you think is happening here? Wow, it's kind of familiar, isn't it? What do I say? It's the playbook. The public hears billions to Iran and immediately assumes this is taxpayer funded. This is more of that untracked money. Or it's a sellout. None of it's awesome, makes us all feel bad, makes us get angry, and none of it is accurate. The real lie, the lie is not in what's missing from these headlines. It's that it's Iran's own money, that the money is earmarked and it's all monitored. None of it has been spent to date as of recent audits. And most importantly, guys, this was not a gift. This was a diplomatic trade, one every single modern U.S. administration has done in some form. Get wise to it, okay? We've seen this before. I mean, we go through these things, these zingers. It's taking years off our life. We worry about this stuff, and it's happening to us over and over again. We're just not noticing. In fact, Trump himself, our current president, explored similar asset for hostage deals with Iran and North Korea. You just didn't get the headline back then. There was nothing really to go on with it. So the headline wasn't useful. But still, they just don't want you to know. But now it's back because war drums are beating again. And the idea that Biden paid off terrorists, it all fits beautifully into a story arc that leads to how we look at emboldened Iran. Even though there is zero evidence that the $6 billion, which is still in Qatar, by the way, has been used for any hostile purpose. Remember, there are real people in Iran. And none of these facts, though, stops the outrage machine. I mean, that thing's moving along just fine. Listen, the next time someone shouts $6 billion for hostages, maybe ask, whose money was this? Where is this money? Ask them what monitored humanitarian use means. I love these terms they throw out. We're like, ooh, boy, like, what does that mean? And when they can't answer, welcome them to the real story. The media didn't lie in what they said. They lied in what they left out. This tactic is used all the time. There's just so much of it out there. Let's go to this one here. More tension. Headline reads, U.S. mulls bombing Fordo nuclear site. Wow. This sounds like war is on the table, doesn't it? That's a lot in one little headline. Sounds like the Pentagon is prepping jets. Sounds like we're about to recreate 2003, maybe with better lighting. Except this isn't a military plan. This is a media whisper, all engineered to shake markets, trigger headlines, and send a message without doing a damn thing. Okay, Fordo is a heavily fortified underground uranium enrichment facility in Iran. It's built into a mountain It's hardened. It's been a source of tension for years. It's where Iran enriches uranium beyond the 60% threshold. Okay, that's where all that happens. It's been targeted many times diplomatically, but never militarily. So when this news hits that the United States might bomb Fordo, that's why the world is gasping. But here's the kicker. This is not new. The Fordo strike plan has been sitting in a Pentagon file cabinet since the Bush administration. And every time Iran gets loud, this plan gets leaked again and again and again. And every time we go crazy, the world goes nuts and nothing happens. Because bombing Fordo is not a strategy. It's all theater. Let's talk logistics. Okay, Fordo is buried 90 meters deep inside a mountain. The only bomb that could crack it, that would be the GBU-57, Massive Ordnance Penetrator, aka the Bunker Buster. I'm sure the news told you all about this too. It is massive. It needs a B-2 stealth bomber to deploy, and it's a first strike weapon, not a warning shot. The minute we use that bomb, it is open war. No walking it back, no diplomacy the next day. It's the kind of move you make when you've already given up on peace. And right now, no one in D.C., not even the Hawks, right? They're not ready for that. So why did this headline appear now? Well, let's take a look at it. Let's look at the context. Israel is escalating against Iranian proxies, right? This is what was going on in everything with Israel and Iran. I mean, just look what's happening every second. Iran making the noise about an all-out war, the bluffs. The U.S. wants to look strong. They don't really want to have to do anything. So what do? Well, you leak to the press that bombing Fordo is on the table. That's what you do. You don't confirm it, don't deny it either, just float it out there. And boom, the pressure is on again. Iran starts sweating, allies fall in line, markets hold breath. And you didn't have to pay a dime to get all that done. Look at what can happen. It's not a war move, it's a headline tactic. We need to get smarter. This kind of headline it's not harmless in itself. It sends global markets into a panic mode. It fuels more threats from Iran. Okay, the ripple effect, which then gets spun into their own headlines, which we've already talked about. It escalates the fear at home, which, thank you, we have enough. But more importantly, it desensitizes us. The more we hear the U.S. might bomb Iran, the less we question when it actually happens. We won't even be worried about it. We won't be concerned, but we should be. That's how wars start in plain sight. Without you knowing. You heard about it so much and you finally looked away. You're sick of hearing about it. And then it finally happens and then you don't know about it. By softening the public to accept something, when the day it finally comes, that's been happening for years and years and years. There is no military consensus right now for striking Fordo. There is no official statement. There's no mobilization. This is pure saber rattling by leak. Then we ask ourselves, so why did every major outlet publish it? For those of you still trusting the major media outlets, I'm going to answer that for you. They say it because it gets attention, gets them views. Everything is content and views. How do you get more attention on yourself? You throw out fear. Because the words U.S. and bomb and Iran in a headline still sets the world on fire. It still works. It's working right this very second with all the confusion and panic. But until bombs actually fall, this one is going to go into the fake out pile, okay? I know, that scares you. But that's where it's going, right next to the weapons of mass destruction. We're just going to put that over there. You can't believe every war is coming headline. You just can't. And why would you? How many wars are there right now? Anybody even know? Believe the troop movements, the satellite images, the actual deployments. And until then, this is not war. This is marketing at its finest. And I mean, I hope that you can see how this marketing is working on you. These things are coming at us nonstop. Here's another one. Mossad established drone base inside Iran. I mean, this one hits like a James Bond trailer. What? You mean Israel's elite intelligence service snuck into Iran, set up a drone base, and started launching silent attacks from Iranian soil? Sounds like a spy movie. And that's because that is exactly how it's being marketed. Let's unpack the lie hiding in the adrenaline. According to the leaked intel, sources are questionable, Israel's Mossad allegedly recruited Iranian defectors or some local operatives, smuggled in Israeli drone tech, established a covert drone base somewhere in rural Iran, and has been launching missions from within the country itself. The base supposedly supported surveillance and sabotage efforts, including the recent explosion at a defense site in Isfahan. Sounds like a covert coup, doesn't it? But let's ask the most important question here. Where is any proof? Every story about this drone base is built on anonymous defense leaks. Sources close to Israeli intelligence. I mean, we hear that all the time. Or Iranian state media claiming to have discovered sabotage networks. So the left hand is making wild claims and the right hand is saying no comment. And the media just slaps it all into a headline that reads more like a plot line. But let me be clear with you, there is no photo evidence, no satellite proof, no third-party confirmation. And even Iran's own military hasn't presented concrete footage of a takedown. This is intel chatter, and it is rumor. Yes, Mossad is inside Iran, so stop freaking out. They have been running assassinations and hacks and surveillance ops for years, so this is nothing new and nothing to freak out about. Iranian nuclear scientists have mysteriously dropped dead. Explosions have rocked facilities deep inside the country without warning. I mean, these things are probably true, but that doesn't mean there is a literal drone base with an Israeli flag in the desert. That's where things get foggy, and it's changing what you think, what you believe, just enough for you to be wrong. Most likely, Mossad trained local dissidents, gave them drone tools or some intel, and coordinated missions from outside using encrypted comms and deepfake routes. That's espionage 101. Why do we freak over this? It's way less cinematic, but way more plausible. Why the headline's just too perfect? Well, because a Mossad drone based in Iran, that does exactly what both sides want. Iran gets to say, hey, see, we are under attack. And Israel gets to stay silent while the myth spreads fear. And the media, hey, it gets a global thriller story. This is like a box office hit coming to your headlines right now for you to freak out about. Ready-made for reels and fear feeds, all for your pleasure. It's a win-win kind of lie, and the public, that's you, eats it up. The danger is not that it's fake. The danger is that it invites escalation. If Iran believes there is a foreign drone base on its soil, hey, they may retaliate without proof, just to flex. They could bomb civilian regions, crack down on ethnic groups, or arrest innocent citizens. And that would all be based on a rumor in a headline that no one is taking responsibility for, and they're just spreading it like wildfire. And it's not new. We've seen it before. Chemical weapons confirmed by sources who vanish later. Russian bounties. Headlines start wars faster than missiles these days. Take notice. Do you really think Mossad would set up a drone base inside Iran and then let it leak to the press? That's not espionage. That's PR at its finest. It's like Hollywood is now in the world. We used to cover up everything for celebrities and they're always perfect and all that good stuff. It's everywhere now, guys. It's in everything. If it is real anyways, you'd never read about it in real time. So for now, this headline's biggest payload isn't military, it is psychological. All right, next up, Iran's gasoline crisis sparks panic. There's the headline. No viral videos, no bold red banners, no U.S. think pieces analyzing what it means. Okay, this was quietly reported by Middle East news sources, buried in U.S. media. While the world's focused on all the missiles and threats and foreign strikes, the real collapse is happening inside Iran. Remember those real people that live in Iran? Yeah, no one wants to talk about that. And why is that? Well, because a panicked, imploding Iran, that doesn't really fit the war narrative. In the last 10 days, let me tell you what's actually happening in Iran. Gasoline lines have stretched for hours in major Iranian cities. Just imagine if that was happening here, the feelings that we'd be feeling. People are stockpiling their fuel now, expecting massive price hikes or even rationing. What? Rural stations have started running dry, and reports of internal unrest and hoarding are trickling out. Nope, this is not about war. It's not about bombs. This is about economic collapse. Iran's economy is in such deep crisis that they can't subsidize fuel anymore, even for their own citizens. Remember your common sense, your awareness, your clarity. This is Venezuela level breakdown stuff. And you're not hearing about it. Iran is one of the largest oil-producing countries in the world. If they can't even keep domestic gasoline flowing, that's a red flag, and not just for them, for the entire region. It is a signal of crippling infrastructure, that the sanctions are biting harder than they want to admit. There's a growing risk of internal revolt, not external war like they want you to believe. You just aren't getting this in the headlines. Why not? Again, a failing nation, one falling apart at the seams. Where's the villain in that? It complicates the narrative. This crisis isn't new either. It's just hitting a boiling point. Iran has subsidized fuel for decades. It was one of the few things the regime could offer its people to buy loyalty. But now that bribe is collapsing, and with it, also the illusion of control. Their food prices are spiking. Just imagine what we went through in the United States. Their jobs are completely vanishing. No infrastructure support, I guess is my point here. The internet's being restricted again. How would you like that? I don't think that we could even handle that here in the United States. I mean, that's insane at that level. Cities that were quiet in Iran during the 2022 protests, they're now stirring. They don't like it. But instead of covering that, the media outlets are still printing that Iran in its big power is threatening an all-out war. Because showing the cracks in the foundation, that ruins all the drama. Can't talk about that. This is another headline that hides in plain sight. I mean, technically it is true. Iran is having a gas crisis, but the coverage is not consistent. It's just buried under sexier, flashier war stories. If this were happening in France or Canada or even Texas, there would be wall-to-wall coverage, panic charts, economic think tanks on every single show. But with Iran, it's crickets, because it's just not convenient to admit that the regime is vulnerable, that its people are desperate, and that maybe, just maybe, this war theater is a distraction from a regime on the verge of implosion. There's the news story for you. You want to know where the real revolution starts? It's not with missiles. It's not with presidents. It's not with fake drone bases. It starts when the people can't fill their gas tanks, can't feed their families, and can't believe another promise. And the next time you hear that Iran is preparing for war, ask if they even have enough fuel to get there. That is a real question. And I know this is just a lot to take in. When you're looking at the headlines, they're enough to take in. And if you're listening to this podcast, then you have to realize that what you reacted to, what ruined your day or week or month wasn't even true. That can be a lot to take too. Did a lot of Iran stuff today. There's more, but let me give you some headlines that are absolutely false. I'm not going to go into each one. This would take days, right? I could do this all day, every day, and just tell you headlines that are not true. But here's more, just so you know, in case you see this. Video shows Iranian hypersonic missiles hitting Tel Aviv tonight. While the missiles weren't hypersonic or even launched, analysts confirmed they were standard ballistic missiles. No credible evidence shows Tel Aviv was even struck. How about this? A Guardian report slams UK grooming gang inquiry as Islamophobic. Well, no such article exists, so there's a problem there. It's a doctored social media claim, completely fabricated. How about this? Old clip shows drone downed over Israel in real time. Well, this was actually 2022, a Ukrainian drone crash misattributed to Israel. Big picture, wrong war, wrong place. Drinking 30 degrees Celsius water kills COVID. WHO says so. Well, they never endorse that. It's ancient COVID misinformation from way back in 2020, long debunked. Don't fall for that. Helicopters are spraying COVID disinfectant daily in India. Well, that didn't happen. No country, uses airborne spray to combat COVID. So if you read that, not true. This was a viral conspiracy, again, from 2020. It's hitting them. It's hitting now. It's hitting right now. How about this? The Babylon Bee reports Twitter shut down to hide Biden scandal. Fact. Babylon Bee is satire, so know that. Their stories are jokes, but some readers thought they were real and spread them around as fact. Never checked the thing. Trump says X account suspended after Elon feud. Well, no suspension happened. Trump's claim was false and confirmed by X itself. Trump filed Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Now Biden has nearly emptied it. That one went around. But nothing was drained. Biden inherited it emptier than Trump left it, and that is fact. Billboard in Tel Aviv demands Trump bomb Iran. Well, no credible evidence, no photos, no street cred. This one spread informally on X. Zero sourcing. How about this? Mossad built a secret drone base inside Iran. These false headlines, they all play on emotion. Did you notice? Fear, outrage, disgust, and then they disappear into the scroll before they can be fixed, before you can check what is now planted in your head, really, what you've taken in. Fact-checking isn't optional anymore. If you want to really know what's going on out there and you're out there on your feed and you're trying to be smart and get information, it is essential to fact-check. If you don't fact-check and then you want to go around and yell at others for just not knowing the truth, it might actually be that you don't know. No matter how smart you are out there, how intelligent, how good you've always been with the news, I've got this covered. You can't control what they're giving you. And your brain is trying to decide what is real and what is not. And you're going to have to fact check because it's all that good. So yeah, a lot of Iran headlines today. And I get it. It's everywhere. It's loud. It's messy. It's scary. That's why we're here. Because when things feel overwhelming, you need to be able to cut through the noise and know what is actually happening and what is just media smoke. And just like you heard in my little last list here, there are plenty of headlines out there right now that are just flat out false. No context, no correction, not even from the people they're about. They are fire, click, scroll, and forget. And that's what you're doing, and that's what they know that you're doing. And they keep feeding these headlines all day, every day. But not here, not with Alexis Knight. No, here we expose it, question it, and shine a light where everyone else is pointing lasers in your eyes. This is Headline Lies. And we're here every week. Next week, more breakdowns Monday and Friday. But we also have episodes Tuesday through Thursday where we go into big cases, big things going on. Alexis Knight investigates. And after our Headline Lies next Monday, we have something going on Tuesday. We're going to go deep into a special on Iran. And not just the headlines like I did today. I'm talking the whole damn story. Because if you think this was intense, just wait. Yep, on Tuesday, we go in. Not just another headline. This is a full expose. I'm going to break down why Iran keeps showing up in our wars and our money deals and our media drama. Why is that? And what really happened with that $6 billion deal and who's been lying about it for years? And how Iran became the dark currency of U.S. foreign policy. And why every single administration from Reagan to Biden has something to hide when it comes to Tehran. This is the story behind the stories. The thing no one ever explains, and the reason headlines about Iran always sound the same. If you really want to know something that others don't, stop following those headlines. And definitely, Tuesday, be there. Alexis Knight, True Crime and the Court of Public Opinion, the Iranian special. Trust me, you're going to see the world differently after you listen to this. And thank you for listening today. I am Alexis Knight. Stay safe out there, guys. Ask the difficult questions and always demand the truth. Until next time.